something that has been on my mind a lot recently is relationships, how we are failing in them. We're failing to stay connected to each other, and we're failing to engage, and it seems people's relationships are ending all of the time and people are unable to stay in them. I feel that is the root of society collapsing and falling apart, is an inability to connect and to engage. Last year, men and women were surveyed about their dating lives, and men between the ages of 18 to 29, 50% of them said that they're not even interested in a romantic relationship or casual dates, and 34% of women said that. And not only that, but the General Surgeon of America just announced a loneliness epidemic and how we aren't taking it seriously. I just have to ask myself, why? Why is that happening? Why are we not connecting? Why are we not engaging? I just think about my friends and my relationship, especially as I've gotten older and I've moved away and I'm back in the place that I was for college, and how I'm with the same people but how we're different, and how because we've grown different, it's been harder to navigate that relationship with them, and it's been painful. I've had to have some really hard conversations that have taken a lot of courage and vulnerability and have also hurt. It's hard because sometimes I'd just rather be like, well, it's not worth it. I'd just rather not have this conversation at all and just avoid it. And I think that that is what is happening as a collective as well. It's easier to avoid hard things. It's easier to avoid being vulnerable. It's easier to avoid courage. What happens though if we consistently do that? We keep not committing, or we keep avoiding the hard things, or we keep not engaging, and we keep choosing things to fill that void with something that will never fill it, like social media or pornography or anything under the sun that is not a substitute for human connection but tries to be. And I think we need to be having more conversations about this and how we can combat loneliness and how we can combat the very real urge and desire to not connect, to disconnect, to break away, to cut off. I think by starting to acknowledge that we feel that we have that urge to not stay in, to give up, to not be committed, that will give us a starting point to know, okay, how can we stay together? How can we remain in these relationships, even if it is hard to be vulnerable, and even if it makes us uncomfortable? And obviously this goes without saying, I'm not talking about toxic relationships that you need to, or abusive relationships. There are relationships that we shouldn't stay in, but generally we need connection that keeps us alive. We're meant to connect scientifically, spiritually. We are part of a human family, and I believe we're part of God's family. So we're spiritually wired, mentally wired, physically wired for connection. And how can we connect if we keep hurting each other? How can we come back to each other? That's my question for you. And I hope that you think about that.